go straight to the heart of our discussion today on the program. I have with me in the studio already the erudite lawyer, Chief A.B. Thomas, Barrister A.B. Thomas. Many thanks for joining us on the program.
Thank you. Good morning to viewers at home.
I also have with us in the studio a man of God, Pastor Phil Aroji. He's also a public affairs analyst. Pastor Phil, many thanks for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me. Good morning.
We also have a social commentator, Christian Osegale. Christian, thanks again for coming on the program.
It's my pleasure.
Okay, let's start off from, just before the week ended, PMB returned. The pictures of his arrival were all over the social media, and then of course there was a buzz in the land. But in his absence, a lot happened, and today on the show, we'll look at some of the events that took place in PMB's absence, and then we'll look at how those events will shape post PMB's arrival, if you know what I'm talking about. Maybe this week, the other week, and the days to come. And then, of course, the big statement, his vow to jail looters. And we've heard both the ruling party and the major opposition party, reacting and counter-reacting, while the ruling party is saying that they will not shield anyone that is alleged to be corrupt. The opposition party, PDP, is saying, look, you want to jail looters? Start from your own party. After all, they say, charity begins at home. That's the thrust of our discussions today on the program. That's A.B. Thomas. Let's look at the events that took place in the absence of the president, with the acting president in charge. The siege, the National Assembly, the removal of Lawa Dawa, and then of course the defections and all of that. What are your thoughts along those lines?
Well, it has been a potpourri for Nigerians, particularly since this administration came up. Each time PMB is out of the country is always on the march, on the move. No slow movement, no dwell times. This time, we had the case of the invasion of the National Assembly. And it was something that was unconstitutional. It was an act that bordered on brigandage and abuse of power, which does not follow the rule of law. But again, the vice president rose to the occasion by the quick sacking of Lawa Daura, the DSS, the former DSS Director General. And that is a prompt action, which would never have taken place if PMB had been around, because all actions are always taken slowly and listening to too many cacophony of voices and differing to old opinions. But with a young man as the vice president, he took prompt action, and Daura had to pay for it. But we are expecting, hopefully, that with the return of PMB, he will be able to ask that full investigation be taken into the invasion of National Assembly, because Daura couldn't have taken action alone, because that action brought Nigeria into international odium and ridicule. They're talking about the defections. Well, I don't say anything new about it. It was a repeat of what APC themselves organized in 2014 against PDP. So let's see how far the defections will go. Then, during the absence of PMB, the issue of INEC budget came up. So it puzzles me how a national budget was passed without that of the INEC included. And we've heard that INEC submitted their budget to the presidency since February. I wonder why the presidency would take 5 months to present it in July to National Assembly. And it also shows the fact that throughout these past 3 years, there has been no synergy between the National Assembly and the executive, and its legislature and the executive. Because I don't know where you'll be passing the budget piecemeal. All these things ought to come from all MDAs and the executive arm of government once, and they'll be taken in whole, rather than talking of bringing INEC and bringing other MDA's budget when the legislators were due for vacation. I am on vacation now. The lawyers who attend High Court and Court of Appeal and Supreme Court are on vacation. I am on vacation now. I can't expect anybody to call me now and ask me to go back to court. I'm on vacation. If the law says I'm on vacation, which the law says actually, I am on vacation. So to say you want to recall the legislators to come back and face INEC issues, whether legitimately or whether with a view to carrying out any impeachment, whether legal or illegal impeachment. The fact is that the National Assembly, they are on vacation.
Okay, so let's pursue there. Let me get your thoughts, Pastor Phil Aroji. People are quick to say that, well, the president was not on the ground, the acting president was prompt and swift in sacking Daura. Is it possible that the acting president will sack such a man of that standing without the president being in the know or being carried along, as it were?
Thank you very much. It ought to be possible for the acting president, who has all the presidential powers as at that time, to take any action that he deems fit in accordance with the rule of law, constitution of our nation. But because of the kind of system we run, democracy we practice, the kind of things happening here, and because of the sensitive nature of that position, and the fact that the person involved is not just a stranger, is actually a direct relation of the president.
Yeah.
The man's name is Lawa Musa, but most of our people from the northern part of the country will attach an additional name, which is the name of their town to their name,
yeah.
Daura. So President Buhari is from Daura town, so they are from the same place. People even say that they have direct blood relationship and all the rest. So it was possible, it would have been possible to do that, but I'm sure in this case, because of the sensitive, the acting president, as it then was, Professor Banjo, could have consulted with the president. In fact, any news that does not favor the government, the Minister of Information would tell us it's a fake news, including what happened at the National Assembly, that's a fake news, including even the CNN, the UN reports as fake news. Otherwise, there are informations there that when that siege happened at the National Assembly, and of course the acting president was not in the know, he sent for the then DG DSS. These are information there. The government had not said no to it. He sent for him, and then the guy called him a bluff and said he doesn't report to him. It was at that time, according to the report we read online, that the acting president called the president and said, look, this is what is happening. I want this man sacked in 20 minutes or I'll resign. These are information out there. The government have to tell us the real thing so that we don't... So
in the intel, we could say they are fake news.
Well, if it's fake news, let's have the real news. So let's have the real news. But this is what we have been made to believe.
Okay.
That he gave the president 20 minutes. If he doesn't sack him, he will resign. And of course, the implication will be that since the president was not in the country and the acting president resigned, the Senate president will become the acting president. And so you know the implication of that for the government. So, well, according to that report, Daura had to be sacked to save PMB. So Daura had to go to save PMB. That's one report. There are several other reports, but if that's not what happened, then it's on the government to let us know what happened. The reality is that if Mr. President was around, nothing would have happened. No action would have been taken. Nothing. And when Chief said that he hopes that there will be full investigation, the matter has died. What we should even be asking, let them not go and bring the matter.
But you're jumping into conclusion.
No.
If you say the president were around, then nothing would have happened. You're jumping into conclusion.
No. Now,
it has not happened.
What has happened to the Minister for Finance? What has happened to her?
What's wrong with the Minister for Finance?
Oh, you are not aware? Are you not a journalist? That the man is accused of forging her NYC exemption letter or certificate. Has anything happened? Has the government said anything? The information minister said, oh, the government has spoken because NYC said they are investigating. So that's what the government has spoken. That's the agency of government responsible to say something. So we know that nothing will happen. In fact, they may end up bringing him through the back door, looking for somebody else who may even be half foreigner, like they did in the case of the NSA. Sorry, the
Secretary to government.
No, not secretary to government now. This other body, NIA. NIA. You know, when they remove the DGNIA, for secretary to government, they have to bring his cousin, boss Mustafa. For the DGNIA, they smuggle someone else from who they say is half Nigerian and the wife is a Moroccan into the place to take over the position. That's on one side. We'll come to the NEC budget. We need to understand these things properly. The executive arm submitted the 2018 appropriation bill to the legislative arm since December 2017. And it took back and forth up to June, 6 months minimum, before that bill was passed. Now, on the day the president was signing, he accused the National Assembly of inserting projects up to about 500 billion that we call constituency project. Of course, we know that the issue of constituency project has been on here and there since 1999, that Nigerians have not come to agree what it should be. So he accused them of inserting constituency project up to 500 billion, half a trillion naira. And thereafter, within this period, according to Chief, INEC has sent their proposal since February. Within this period, they didn't think it was necessary to send the papers of INEC because we know we had election. INEC had done their part because if you send proposal a year before the election, you've done what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
They didn't find it necessary to send this proposal to the National Assembly. They waited. That passed. You signed the bill. It became an act. That passed. Then you wrote a letter asking for environment. And the figures you were trying to take for environment were the same figures that you accused the legislators of putting into the budget for constituency projects. And these legislators said, look, this is what we have to take back to our people. So you want to take what they had proposed there to take back to their people because it's an election here and they are facing an election. You want to take that to conduct election. And you expect them to be dancing and clapping and following you. That's on one side. They are on vacation, which is legitimate. You want them to come back from vacation to work on it. And you know that the leadership of the National Assembly is being threatened with impeachment.
The vacation came before the date they were supposed to go on vacation.
Well,
according to their own calendar. According to their own calendar.
Right. They were supposed to go
on Thursday. And they went on Monday.
And they went on a Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
On Tuesday.
Yeah.
We don't know. They can suspend their plenary. They can suspend their session at any time. We don't know. But what could they have done in 2 days?
In 2 days.
What could they have done in 2 days? And everybody wants to save their job. Like we mentioned now that they have to sack Daura to save the president's job. Saraki too have to do whatever he has to do within his power to save his job because people are vowed to uproot him. When Saraki and the others they camp, I heard the leader of the House of Rep, Femi Bajabiamila, saying that that it is the party that is voted for. You can't take what belongs to the party and take it to another place. You can't take our crown. Of course, the comrade governor, the chairman of APC started the issue of crown and all the rest. Eventually, Gosul Akpabio decamp. And everybody went to you to receive him.
To receive him.
And accused PDP of messing up Akwa Ibom State for 16 years. The first governor of Akwa Ibom State in this new era is architect Obong.
Obong Atta.
Atabong. He's now a member of APC. The man who ran there for another 8 years is Akpabio. He's now a member of APC. So who is the PDP that actually messed up Akwa Ibom State? They have moved to APC. And at that time, you could celebrate Akpabio. It is no longer that it's a party that is voted for. It is now that the people can move. You are free. Even the president, when he was interviewed about Akpabio's movement, he said it's the beauty of democracy. But 3 weeks ago, it was not the beauty of democracy. So we have challenge here.
Okay.
And I think that those, and unfortunately, we have moved from now governors, giving the people what they ought to get into politicking. And they started it too early.
All right, Christian, I'm sure a lot of thoughts are welling up in your mind in these conversations on this back and forth reactions and counter reactions between the executive and the legislature. Now that PMB is back, you see it coming to an end soon?
You know, I said sometime in this same studio that the end of those jamboree of quarrel is not in sight until they do away with this 8th assembly. But I want to appreciate my panelists here for at least acknowledging that PMB made the best choice of his running mate. And 2, you see, when you have a president who have chosen a running mate, just like a man who marry a good wife, you know the blessing that will be following you. And again, I want to look at the contribution from a different angle. PMB have proven beyond reasonable doubt that he is a Democrat. For the first time in the history of Nigeria, maybe I have forgotten. If anybody remember, can remind me. I've not seen a democratically elected president in Nigeria that gives power to his deputy for 5 seconds. It's only PMB that have that record. So that is a plus. And you know, you discover that when you have somebody that can deputize for you, like I said, a responsible wife, even when you travel and leave your children in her care, you are comfortable. So the president is always at home when he travels. Now, like every commentators have said, when the president is not around, the deputy or the acting president will be acting very well. So we thank God that the president took the right decision. And good things will come, certainly. Now that he has come back, it's just 10 days break, and a lot has happened. And between now and the next 10 days, a lot more will still happen. You know, in a year preceding the election, it's just like a farmer who harvested, and at the tail end of harvesting, you visit your farm frequently. A lot of things will begin to happen. The issue of MDA's budget, sir, a lot of MDA budget has not still been passed today. The only budget that the National Assembly passed was the main budget of the main budget. A lot of MDA budgets have not even been presented for discussion. So this 8th Assembly is blessed with negative history of, first of all, recording for the first time in the history of Nigeria of delaying budget that was given to them for 7 months before they could pass it. This 8th Assembly is honestly living in what they call a paradise where human being does not live, by thinking that you can separate the National Assembly from the executive. They are all government. When you say government, federal government is the executive, the legislator, and the judiciary. So they are supposed to work together in as much as the law insists that they must checkmate each other. But because some of them have this personal interest, they want to punish the executive so that they will, because they have the dream or the desire to become president, they cannot give the wrong impression that PMB is not working well, so they will work better. They have succeeded in delaying every action of this government. A lot of bills even submitted by the executive to the National Assembly has not even been looked into. And all those things have been what has been drawing down governance. And you see, like Saraki just said, I heard on paper just now, that the executive did not submit budget, the INEC budget at the time, they lack foresight. That is why I said, if he thinks he's not part of the executive, then he's just deceiving himself. Executive, you can never be separated from the legislator. And you now discover that.
Just a minute, Christian. If you say he's deceiving himself, in what way is he deceiving himself? That the executive were supposed to submit the budget. They didn't submit it on time. The MDAs are the ones that are supposed to, prepare the budget and submit those same budgets. From the National Assembly, they are saying these budgets have not been prepared. Even where they are prepared, they've not been made available. Is it the job of the National Assembly, in the name of working together as one government, to go to the MDAs to pull those budget estimates out and then come out, look at it on the floor of the House? I saw last week or so the Electoral Committee of the National Assembly, the Senate, and the House of Representatives. They met with Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, who is the INEC chairman. And I asked a question in one of our programs, which is that if it was possible for these committees to meet with INEC on the supplementary budget for the 2019 election, why the hue and cry that the National Assembly deliberately cut short the time they are supposed to go on recess just to truncate this whole budget for INEC and all of that? That's the question that I asked.
Is it INEC as a commission prepare their own budget? The president does not have an input in it by law. Now, if like it is true, like they have said, that INEC submitted the budget, their proposal to the president, and the president kept it in February. Now, if it is true, what of the main budget that the president sent to the National Assembly in December? Now, let people agree that the president basically delayed. Why said they are deceiving themselves by separating themselves from the executive? I don't understand why my leave or holiday should override the national interest. If it were that money was given to them to share among themselves, they will not hurriedly go to holiday. They will wait to decide how they will share the money before they will go to holiday. Who tells us that 2 days is not big enough to turn negativity to positivity? I remember the last administration, the 7th Assembly passed how many bills in one day? Countless number of bills in one day. You are telling me that the National Assembly cannot pass the budget in 2 days? It's possible.
So which means, by what you just said, the National Assembly can still pass this budget even in December?
No, it will not.
Because it means, you don't need such a long time.
That is the challenge.
Yes.
They are delaying so that there will be problem and they push it to the executive, thereby separating themselves from the executive. Because if they understand the law, even that says the budget or INEC ought to be out even before now, because INEC have released its timetable, and the timetable was no years, even long ago. So if they understand that election is a national matter, and my personal interest cannot override national matter, they should have at least tell themselves, at least none of, even the female in their midst, they have already outgrown the years of birth. Like you say, maybe they are pregnant, they want to go to hospital. All of them are, most all of them are males, so they can decide to say, for the sake of national interest, that is on the condition that they understand that the national, the budget is for the interest of Nigeria, not for their own interest. So when they begin to look at the holistic nature of governance from the collective responsibility, then you will not be seeing all these backbiting here and there.
Let me proceed there. By Mr. Thomas, PMB is back now. From all indication, this back and forth on the INEC supplementary budget for the 2019 election will still rage. But let's look at just now the talk that he's vowed to jail looters. That seems to be a new point of discussion now at the national level, because we're seeing both the APC and the PDP trading words on that. Let me get your thoughts on those ones.
Who is he going to jail?
The looters.
Listen to me.
Yes.
The PMB we have today does not realize that this is not 1984-85. When you could just sit down and say, Idiagmo, tell them, with immediate effect. I do not subscribe. I have been a lawyer for 32 years. 32. There is separation of powers between the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary. Coming to tell me that I will jail looters, he wants to appropriate to himself the powers of the judiciary. Nobody under the Constitution shall be imprisoned or denied of his freedom without due process. And what is that due process? Unlike what they are doing now without investigation, they arrest you first, you go and prove your innocence. That is not what is in our Constitution. Let PMB ask EFCC or DSS or anything to arrest anybody. You have to present the facts before the judiciary. The judiciary has to listen to the evidence. The lawyers have to go there and prosecute and defend. And these things take time. We don't just come and think that it's a military government. And when you just come and say, I'll be going to prison for 99 years, it will get effect. It will not happen now. What will happen now is that which is going back now and saying, I am coming to jail with us, he is coming to create more confusion. Now there will be no more governance. Between now and any day they want to do an election, there will be no more governance now. Who are the people he is targeting? Those who have defected from APC all these days, who were saints. They are the ones who are now going to be targeted. They will be targeting those who have remained in opposition for too long. They are targeting them. How many convictions did they get? You don't just talk as if you're the military government. Because I may get angry and I will decide to go and offer my services free to anybody who I think is being harassed. I don't need your money. I'm not a rich man. I will go there. And when I get there, and I will tell the judge, let them read the charge against the man. Then I will take my objections.
When you say they will go after those who have defected, that's jumping into conclusion.
No. Look, my dear brother, let us be honest with ourselves. Are we practicing democracy the way it should be practiced? Is there anywhere in the world where a man is presumed guilty before his trial is tried? What we have been saying about this fight against corruption is trial by mass media. Not real trial in the court. I have been in the courtroom for 32 years now. And I know it is not what PMB is thinking. He is thinking of 1984-85. When a man is getting too old, or is getting old, he becomes slow in realizing the implication of what he's saying.
But isn't that what even makes him a Democrat? That he's slow in taking decisions. Isn't that what makes him a Democrat?
He's slow.
Let's say we take for granted that he's slow.
Let me tell you.
Isn't that what makes him a Democrat?
No. You see, if your car is getting old, it starts giving you a problem. It starts moving slowly. It doesn't make your car function properly. If you have a computer and the computer is aged, the computer begins to slow and cannot function properly. The fact that a man is slow does not make him more efficient. He is surrounded by old men. The people he has appointed, no one is less than 70 years old. Abba Kyari, the man who is what?
Chief of Staff.
Chief of Staff. He was the governor of Central State. He was governor at the same time when he was governor. That man is now 78.
But you also have a minister of finance who is young.
The minister of finance,
yes, and several of them. So that is a mixed breed. Really. Let's be honest with that. It's a mixed breed.
The minister of finance,
the old and the young.
The minister of finance is the same person. They are saying forge NYSC exemption certificate. Till today, there is slow movement in tackling that issue. So when you are not coming, you are slowing. when you look, let's be honest. If you want to clean the public, first of all, clean your mouth, clean your house. Then people take you seriously. You are talking of corruption. You're not looking inwards. You're not thinking of your own government. Make some members of your cabinet as examples in talking of corruption. It is then people will not see your fight against corruption as fighting your position. Now you are coming in the wake of defections, and election is nearby. Then you are saying that Salaki, and I got my friend here, that they are fighting for their own personal interest. Who is in government for national interest? Is PMB not interested in re-election? Is Salaki going to go home to the farm? Salaki is a politician. He wants to remain relevant in politics. PMB wants re-election. Salaki has to go back to his people and say, this is the dividend of democracy I am bringing, which is in terms of constituency projects. Everybody who is now on holiday in National Assembly, they were elected by their constituency.
So this is about selfish interest.
All of them, including PMB.
Okay, let's
not one of them. They are all politicians, and politicians will be voted for in 2019.
Yeah.
Depending on what you were able to achieve for your constituency.
Okay, let me come to Pastor Phil. What are your reservations about the comment of jailing looters? We cannot take away the fact that there are some looters in Nigeria. Maybe there's something about the process of getting them jailed. Do you have reservation about that?
Thank you very much. The way we use words in Nigeria, and thank God you are a journalist of high repute, I think sometimes we also have to go back to a dictionary to look at what these words mean. What does it mean for somebody to loot? You should know what I'm talking about, to loot. So that's on one side. PMB is not tactful, and his media handlers are not helping him. He traveled last year and spent almost 100 days. He came back and he gave the famous speech. I mean, he made a speech of about 5 minutes and then made a famous statement, or a famous statement, that he discovered that most of Nigerians have crossed the national red line and threatened. That's when the issue of his speech came aboard and all the rest. That's not what you should tell us after staying away for about 100 days. You told us we were going away for 10 days, and you spent 15 days. And nobody is even looking at that. He left on the 3rd, came back on the 18th. That's 15 days, that's not 10 days. And I'm sure he'll be on his way to Katsina now to spend the Salah holiday. So the whole of August is almost gone. He's on holiday. And then after coming back, a further travel. Most of your children, when you were away, they were hungry. There was killing, crisis here and there. And instead of you to come back home and embrace your children, you are threatening them. You have come to jail looters. Jail who? Does he have the right to jail anybody? He doesn't. He doesn't have the power to jail anybody. That's the truth. He cannot, and he will not be able to do that. Because even if you arrest a man and send him to court, you are not going to hold the hand of the judge and put gun on his head and say you must jail. It's not possible. People, his media handlers are not tactful. They should educate him and enlighten him. After staying away, Nigerians are looking up to you with high hope and expectation, and you are threatening them. No, it's not right. It's not right. He talked about old age and all the rest. I granted interview to AIT. It's recorded. It will be aired on Wednesday, 6 p.m. I did that in Abuja last weekend. And I told them, how are we going to move forward? When the person who was Minister for Petroleum Resources 40 years ago is the same person that is Minister for Petroleum Resources in 2018.
40 years ago.
1978.
But there's a Minister for State Petroleum Resources who is to support.
We're talking about
to support and complement the effort of the substantive minister.
Who is the Minister for Health in this country? Isaac Adewale.
Yes.
from, I think it's from Oyo State or, sorry, from one of the states in the...
One of the Yoruba states?
Yes. We have the Minister of State for Health from Edo State.
Yes.
Do you hear of him? Ehanire. Dr. Ehanire.
Yes.
It's not the same thing.
I do hear of him.
It's not the same thing. They are called junior ministers. Who is the Minister for Agriculture?
Are they irrelevant?
No, they are spectators. The man that has the final say. They are spectators. The man that have the final say. If he's not irrelevant, then give that portfolio to Ibe Kachuku. Give it to him. Leave it. 40 years after, you are holding on to that same portfolio.
But is it the first time we have that in this country?
We are
sitting president holds down.
It's not the short move forward. Good. MTA 2 weeks ago, to justify what DSS did at the National Assembly, played us a video of what happened in November 2014. How that the former government used the police to lock the National Assembly, and Tabo have to go there. I'm the Speaker of this House. I want to go in, and some of the honorable members started jumping the fence. Was that not why you promised Nigerians change? Okay. That we're going to do things differently? If Obasanjo was Minister for Petroleum, was Yaraba Minister for Petroleum, was the Jonathan Minister for Petroleum, how do you use such things to justify your actions now?
Where is the change?
It's not the first time it's happening, but you promised Nigerians change. Where is the change? I want to be able to walk on the street free. But even if people harass me, even if anybody, any agents of government harass me, let it be that has spoken the truth the way it is. Okay. The way it is.
All right, Christian, where is the change, in your opinion, in this jailing looters from what used to be in the past and what obtains today?
You see, I will jail thieves. You know, you can look at it from different perspectives. If I'm in PDP, I look at it from PDP perspective. If I'm APC, or I look at it from APC angle. If I'm not in politics, I look at it from ordinary individual angle. Okay,
let me just establish the fact that on the show today, I tried as much as possible to avoid partisan politicians. I'm not aware ABC.
No, I'm not talking of.
Pastor Phil, or even yourself. That is the point. Because sometimes when we do analysis like that, it's very easy for people to say, okay, because the person is talking like this, okay, this man must be a PDP man, or that man must be an APC man, or an ADP man. No, and sometimes we just have to look at the discussion dispassionately. Yeah, let me get your thoughts.
That is the problem.
Yeah,
I'm only laying foundation for the problem of Nigeria.
Absolutely.
Because if you don't want to look at it from the party angle, you look at it from your religion angle or tribal angle.
Yes.
That is where we find. That is the quagmire that we find ourselves.
Okay.
But the man has not said anything different from what he had been saying before. He campaigned under that same slogan. I am coming to do 3 main things: fight corruption, insecurity, and build the economy. And this, when he came back after that health issue, the first thing he said that the fight against corruption is enforced. He will keep to it. Now, this is the same thing he's repeating. There is no need. In fact, since he started it, he has never taken anybody with his hand and throw him in jail. He has been following constitution. Following law, it is the court that sent people to jail.
And then you shouldn't say it.
You see, that is why I'm saying, depending on how you are looking at it, he's only re-emphasizing what he has been telling us, that the fight against corruption is intact. For me, a clear conscience fear no accusation. I have never stolen from government. In fact, if I am close to him, I will tell you, you use a stronger word, because I'm not afraid. So those that are afraid, those that have stolen, and those that want to steal even his government are the ones that will be afraid. For me, it depends on how you feel.
Which is more lethal in addressing these jailing looters? Is it the strong statements or empowering the constitutional authorities to do the needful? Because what some analysts say is that we take people to court and we bring people to court, no evidence to substantiate the case we have in court, and then at the end of the day, it is thrown through the window. Take a look at the issue of the Senate President himself, up to the Supreme Court. the day the Supreme Court exonerated him from all of those charges on all of those allegations. I mean, what do you make of that in this war against corruption?
I want to connect to the statement of PMB immediately that court Saraki issued.
Yes.
PMB said that the court have proven themselves correct.
Okay.
That he was taken there and court set him free.
Yeah.
He himself lose the election. He went to court and court agreed that he lose the election. That is politics. I mean, that is law that everybody must obey.
Yeah.
The man has never done anything against the law. Even the comment "objective" does not imply that. You see, that's why it depends on how you look at the line you are looking from the statement. When he says he's going to fight corruption, has he wear boxers and gloves and begin to fight those that are corrupt? You see, it depends on the way you understand. The way you understand is what I'm telling you.
Okay.
That the language he said before he contested, and when he was contesting, was he's fighting corruption. The one of 3 days ago, he's still fighting corruption. Okay. And my brother, we are electing the public. He never stayed 18 days. The law says 15 days.
I said 15 days.
The law says you can't working days. In government, you can't working days. And if he left on Friday, and on Friday this week is the 10th day. It came on Saturday. So those are by the way.
If you want us to argue that way, he left on the 3rd.
On the 3rd, which is Friday. Now I'm telling you, it didn't work. You can't that Friday one working day. You start again from a Monday.
Let's stay on course.
When you can't the working days, you get the figure.
Let's stay on course.
If you count the working days, if 11 working days was the way.
I want to give you 5.
Just hold on. Just hold on.
Let's stay on course. 11 working days if you count the working days.
That is not 16 that you mentioned.
I didn't say 16. I said it was
15 days.
Okay, it's not 15 that you mentioned.
If you say
okay, no, now we are just to correct what you said, because Nigeria need to know that working days is the days that count. Not Saturday and Sunday.
I wasn't talking of working days. I was talking of the number of days it was a week. Like they say working days, it was a week of 11 working days.
Bishop, excuse me, just a minute. Let me tell you, a president works 24 hours. That doesn't get on the week. And sir, that is not the issue. That is not the issue. I'm telling you what, that's what the law says.
Let's take it one at a time.
The days you count are working days. That is my lawyer. So Nigerians need to know that one.
We was away for 11 working days.
Let's just hold on. Let's take one at a time because we don't have much time. I'll come back to you.
I digress so that just to get the picture clearer.
From your perspective.
Yes, from my point of view. But the issue is this: when, like I said, the man are proving, PMB are proving beyond reasonable doubt that he's a Democrat. Okay. First, when the Saraki was coming as a senator, the party said this is who they want. The president said whoever that the National Assembly elects, he will work with. And that was how Saraki came on board. Unlike the previous president that we have, who will decide who goes there, and the president does not comply with him, is removed. I know an administration that have close to 5 senator presidents. Look at the party, APC party chairman. He complete his 4 years. Mention a president in this country that has ever done that.
Okay, let me.
When we are following issues, things are better when we follow it the way it is.
Let me pause you. I'll be back to you if we have time to call it right. You wanted to bring some legal perspective on the issue. Yeah.
He was saying that PMB has not breached any constitution. I will give you 5, only 5, because of time issue. Now I would have given you 100. One.
Sir, if only work, I should give me 1. I will reply you one by one.
Is there a contest between both of you?
So you should not give me
Nigerians, 5 areas where PMB has breached the constitution. In the past 3 years, he has been in power. 1. Do we have political prisoners now as against the constitution? 4 federal high courts in Abuja and 1 in Lagos have ordered the release of the former NSA. That's okay. PMB came to the television. In a civilized country, can't do it. He came to the television, he said, I should release. That's okay. I should release that iPod man, what's his name?
Yes, Kalu.
Kalu. He said, I will not release them. In press conference, he made me came from London.
He was only,
I will not release them. Courts have made an order. A president will say, I will not. There are three arms of government: the judiciary, executive, legislature. And each one is independent of each other. He refused to release Dasuki. He refused to release the airport man. What is national security?
National security.
National security.
Christian, you are interjecting.
You are interjecting.
Yeah.
And that is what is also a second infraction on the Constitution. There is not like detaining somebody under national security in a democratic setting. Not like that. It's only in military that you have such a thing. The Constitution is clear. Go and look at Section 4, 35, 36, 37. That nobody shall be imprisoned except under due process. Which means every person, even if you say somebody is planning a coup, whatever is your reason, or you say he killed a human being, or he defied a 13-year-old girl, you must take that person. There must be investigation. Then the facts must be collected. Then you charge the person in a language the person understands. And the charge will be read and the court will hear the case.
Okay.
That is not what is going on here. Number 3, since PMB came, all we get as against the norm is democracy. Is an attempt to impose two military tactics, decisions on Nigerians. Whereas those who, what is the real democracy in Nigeria or anywhere, is not the executive. It's not the judiciary. The real democracy in any country is the legislature. People elected from their consequences by the people. That is why when there is a military government, the military constitutes the executive. They don't touch judiciary. What they touch is the legislature, National Assembly. You want to keep on imposing things on National Assembly. How do you get INEC budget since February? You kept it to the cooler. Then you brought it to July and asked them to come and sit down. They said, look, we don't do things that way. It is unconstitutional for you to bring a bill without the bill going through the committees established for verification. And that we can do in 2 days. There are the House of Reps have their committees. The Senate have their committees. You just bring it. You want it to be done with immediate effect as it was 1984. That's an infringement of the Constitution.
Where will all of this lead us to ultimately, in your opinion?
In my opinion, ultimately, we are going to go backwards. I can't see any light in front because there cannot be democracy without rule of law. And what is rule of law? It's not just judiciary alone. It's following due process. Due process. And when the due process is too slow, and when you are coming to intimidate, harass, you can't intimidate, nobody in this world can intimidate a bit of us. No talk of Salaki.
Okay, all right, thank you. Pastor Phil, what are your final thoughts on where will all of these come to an end, as it were?
Well, as we get ready for the 2019 general election, I must say that the reason for all of this depression is because, as it was in 2014 for Jonathan, is because of PMB. In 2014, the people who are now living back to PDP actually left PDP to APC because they knew that the window was closed. They didn't have opportunity to contest fairly for the presidential ticket. People like Saraki, Kwankwaso, Atiku Abubakar, and all the rest. They all moved from PDP to APC. And of course, some of them had the opportunity. Kwankwaso actually came second at the APC presidential primaries in Lagos. And then Atiku Abubakar was there and all the rest. They had the opportunity to contest. But PMB has said, I want to run. And the party has said, we're giving you the option of first refusal. So it's almost closed. So that's the reason why they are moving to PDP, where they think that they can find the opportunity
to contest.
To contest. Like the CG of Custom advised the president that with what you have acquired, you have aged, with a good retirement package, you have your farm and cow in Daura, there was no need to continue. I'm advising him, in the interest of his party, in the interest of this nation, if the president today say, I am no longer contesting, this is a person I'm bringing from any part of the country, Nigerians will gladly support him. That's my sincere advice to him. At 70-something, please rest. Pick up anybody. It's his legitimate right to contest.
Absolutely.
So, yes,
absolutely. I wanted to stress that point.
Take it for him.
Yeah.
But give us any other person. We have wonderful people at all levels in APC. You can't take it from Gordon Obaseki. You can't take it from Ambode in Lagos. You can't take it from some powerful guys in APC across the country.
My state governor,
good. Even if you give it to Adam Sojomola, anybody else. But PMB, you are free.
All right, gentlemen, thank you.
To another person.
Thank you. Collins, last Collins, Christian, what are your final thoughts?
Well, I don't know why they are afraid of PMB.
No, did you say they are afraid of PMB?
So I said those that are.
You heard outside people must have
no, so they should find another party and contest with it. Nobody should advise PMB to step aside or pick somebody. No, he has the right. I have advised him.
No, hold on. He has the right to advise.
I advise him to stay in the race.
Yes.
His contest, the winner will win. But the defection that they went there, I think I remember, I read a piece of Awolowo years ago, who talked about the theory of the tixes and the anti-tixes, where at a point in the history of Nigeria, the progressive will desire to capture power, and some breakaway from the conservative will help them to capture power. And when they have captured the power, those conservative who are the anti-tixes will relocate back to where they are coming from. That is where Nigeria will be struggling to have a true democracy. We will not fail this time.
Okay.
This is the time, and this democracy will come, and PMB will continue the good work he has started.
All right. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for your time. It's always of essence on this program. Big thanks to Christian Osagari. Sometimes it's not easy when